Hello and welcome to this edition of CareerLocker training, where we will be focusing on using the professional tools in CareerLocker. This is Amy Rivera, your CareerLocker training representative. Thanks for attending. Let's get started. This is the page that you see, the professional home page. You see this when you first log into CareerLocker. This is actually why your organization has two different registration codes. There's a professional registration code, there's a student registration code, or there's a client registration code if you're working with adult job seekers. Pretty much all of my webinars that I do, I talk about the two different registration codes and to make sure that you do not give your students and clients the professional registration code because it gives the students access to this page. Let's take a look. So over here on the left-hand side, we have this information on how to create an account. Here you can find information on the CareerLocker administrator, the person who is going to be, the person who is acting as your CareerLocker main contact. This person also has the ability to look up your students and your clients' usernames and passwords, as well as looking up your username and password. Below, we have instructions on how to create an account, and we can actually print this up or pull this up in a printer-friendly version where you can print this out and hand it out to students. The registration codes are only to be used once, where students should be using the registration code to create a unique username and password that they will use to log into CareerLocker from then on. So I get a lot of emails asking, what is the registration code? If you log into your CareerLocker account, you'll be able to find your registration code under this link, how to create an account. Training and webinars. This is actually where I am posting all of my recorded webinars along with my upcoming trainings. So I'm doing live trainings on an introduction to the curriculum. But all of these webinars that I'm recording will be posted under the training and webinars schedule. You can watch them at any time. The curriculum, this is where you find the curriculum. And again, this is only for Wisconsin schools and K-12 schools. But if your school has purchased curriculum, you actually will have access to the PDF files. And if you print every single PDF file out there or on here, it would make a nice big book for curriculum. So there's the elementary school version, there's the intermediate school, and there's the high school. If your school has not purchased the curriculum and you're still in Wisconsin, then you'll see some sample PDFs. Or if you are working with adult job seekers or students, you won't see access to this curriculum. This curriculum is only for K-12. Other classroom resources. Here you have the ability to download classroom activities that help integrate career development in the classroom. Now keep in mind, the curriculum that I just talked about has a scope and sequence format, and there are several lessons that meet the WSCA standards and the ASCA standards. But these classroom activities do not have a scope and sequence. They're just standalone activities. So for example, if you want to find an activity for 11th, 12th graders and adults in, let's say, under curriculum area, I'm not going to choose this. But over here, I'm going to skip looking at the standards and the competencies, but I'm going to use this resources, and I'm going to do worksheet required because I, for some reason, am addicted to using worksheets with students. So when I'm ready, I can click results. And what happens is I have 67 activities that match my choices. For the first one, I can click on it, and here we have a description, an introduction and objective. But if you click on this link that says view the complete activity and worksheet for printing, you actually will have access to this PDF, which is the lesson. So the curriculum areas fall under this, the activity type, the grade level, the in-class time, 45 minutes. And then again, we have the introduction, the objective, and then the activities compared to the student activities. Lastly, we have the standards. And then the work. So remember I requested worksheet required. Well, this specific lesson actually comes with a pre-designated or pre-designed worksheet. So you can print this worksheet out and hand it to your students or your job seekers. And then here, this is focusing on behaviors. So this is why I love the worksheets. I love including worksheets because, actually I'm going to close this, because then you can print them out and hand them out to your students. So that was under classroom activities, and there are tons of activities. They're slowly going away, and you're slowly going to just be using the curriculum, but these activities are there for you right now. You can clear your choices or clear your search, and then you can do another search. This link that says classroom activities downloaded, this will let you know what activities have been downloaded by colleagues at your school or your organization. That way you can avoid using the same activity and having your students or your job seekers moan, "We already did this one." So here I see that this activity titled Increasing Job Tenure was downloaded by me last year. So do I want to use it again? Do I want to skip it? Whatnot. So the name of your colleagues will appear over here. The WC Connection Volunteer Exchange, this is going away. So I'm going to skip this. I have to get this in down. I used to have the WC Connections to connect students and teachers with local businesses, but this has gone away. So don't take a look at this, and your account might not even have this link. Workbooks. This is where you can put workbooks as a professional. Here, the Interview Skills Workbook. They are PDFs again. So I can click download the PDF, and it'll pull up the workbook. Now this one is just one PDF package. I have to have the latest version of Adobe Reader. I haven't downloaded it yet, but there are multiple files. And what happens is these workbooks, because they're PDFs, you can print them off and hand them out to your students and job seekers. So for example, the Finding a Job is a good one for high school students, clients, and adult job seekers. The next category is professional development. This is where you can get help with professional development. We used to run the annual careers conference here in Madison, although it's on a hiatus. It was on a hiatus this year, and it will be on a hiatus next year. But this link takes you to information on that page. The WCDA, the Wisconsin Center for Development Association, this is just for Wisconsin residents, but here you can find free workshops based on career development. And then helpful links. Here again are organizations for career development. So the American College Personnel Association, links to the American School Council, the WISCA, and all of these wonderful career development related help out there. Resources. This is where you can find links to government sites, grants. You can find help on at-risk populations, disability, students with disability, building your own website. We have the best practices for individualized learning plans webinar. Here's the online webinar, and here's the Word documents. So these are just extra resources to help you as a professional career development person. The WC Connection Volunteer Exchange, again, goes with the WC Connection that's going away. So I'm going to skip looking at this right now. It might not even show up on your screen. The next link is site support. So this is where you can find help. You can give me a call at this 800 number, or you can email me at this WC Tech Education line, and it lets you know our browser requirements and technical support information. We also have user guides. So the link that says user guide that says guides, you can pull up elementary guides or middle school guides. The adult job seekers and students don't quite have guides yet. We're working on those. But again, these are PDFs. We use a lot of PDFs. Promoting usage. This helps promote usage in your organization. If you're paying a lot of money for CareerLocker, you want to get it out there and have people use it. So here you can click on password or username and password cards. We used to be with Careers. We moved over to CareerLocker. You can actually have links to the CareerLocker website from your website. So for example, if your school website or your organization website wants to put the CareerLocker logo and the link, you can steal these two logos here. Oh, these are old though. These are with Careers logos. I better get those changed. We have sample memos to teachers where you can let the teachers know that the school has purchased CareerLocker. And these are all open. These open up in Microsoft Word, so you can change the information. So let's say that you want to switch everything over to, CareerLocker, these kinds of things, and then you can print these off and hand them out to your teachers. We have staff flyers and implementation suggestions, along with public addresses and sample newsletter announcements. So again, just samples that you can use to let everybody know that there's a CareerLocker subscription. There's also a sample letter to parents, letting the parents know that the school has a subscription. We also add your logo. This add your logo is available for Wisconsin students. If your school has a school logo, you can actually add for high school students the school logo on the student homepage, so that every time a student logs in, they will see their logo here. I'm logged in as a Phony Wisconsin high school student. The newsletter, here are the old newsletters. I don't do newsletters anymore. I do the blog posts. Apparently, according to marketing resources, the blogs are hot right now. And so I encourage you to check out our blogs, our one blog. The blog is www.careersforward.word.com. So the blog web address is www.careersforward.wordpress.com. Okay. The feedback link, this allows you to send feedback as an anonymous person if you didn't want to send it to me specifically. And then again, the browser requirements lets you know what your compatible browsers are and gives you some technical help. Frequently asked questions. I wrote these frequently asked questions based on a lot of the questions that I get. So how do we get students logged in? How do I run usage reports? How do I delete and create accounts? And then general questions. So check out the frequently asked questions. The usage reports, these are available for elementary students and middle school and high school students. Here you can actually run specific reports. The site usage report allows you to run a general site usage. The big is the personal globe inventory. I like the personal globe inventory because you can run this report and see what the top career clusters are. So for example, if I've run this report, I can see that out of all of 30 kids, most of them, or the majority of them, are interested in the education career cluster. Or they're interested in the business career cluster. You can also find the top 3 clusters per student by punching in the student's name. I don't have any reports to show you because I'm logged in under this Phony Wisconsin high school. But here you can see the career cluster or IASIC reports. It lists the students who have taken the personal globe inventory, and it gives you the career cluster information. We also have the work values inventory report, work skills, learning styles. You can see what your top learning style is amongst your students and your job seekers. And then the most visited occupations and the most visited schools. These are helpful if you're working with high school students. If you want to know what the most popular occupations are for your high school students, you can run this most visited occupations report, or for education, because remember, I am a former admission counselor, you can see the most visited schools and the schools accessed by students. So the most visited schools report, this will help you see what popular school or what schools are popular amongst your students. And that way, I don't have any in here now, but that way you can call up that school and invite an admissions rep to come meet with your high school students. So you know that high school, a lot of your students are interested in that specific school. Or the school is accessed by students. This is nice if you know that a specific school or university is coming to visit. You can run a list of the names of students who have expressed an interest in that school. So for example, if you know that an admissions rep from UW-Madison is coming to meet with students at your school, you can run this report based on UW-Madison. Let's see here. I'm going to do UW-Madison, and it'll give you a list of names. It'll give you all the names of students who have expressed an interest in UW-Madison. That way you can send those students notes saying, hey, John Doe or Jane Doe, UW-Madison is going to be visiting school on the 25th, and I noticed you were interested in it. May I invite you to come visit with the admissions rep? All right, and then you can run the resume reports based on the job seeking tools and the job interview reports. And then there's an education and career planning report and a curriculum report only for the schools who have purchased a curriculum, but the students have to complete specific sections in their curriculum. And so this report will let the students know the percentage of completed for each section in the number of students up to the curriculum. All right, so that was usage reports. Now the Access Student ILP portfolio. This is important because if you accidentally give your students the professional registration code and they are in a K-12 school, they will have the ability to view their classmates' e-portfolio. So if I click accept, I can pull up any of my classmates' e-portfolios with their name or their text or their grade, and I can view their e-portfolio. That is why you want to make sure you do not give students the professional registration code. So professionals, all professionals in K-12 schools have access to view students' e-portfolios. This is especially helpful when you're handing out homework assignments and you want to make sure they get all of their stuff done, and view their e-portfolios and see what specific students have for which specific assessments and whatnot. Okay, the message board, this allows you to send messages through CareerLocker, although they are not sent outside of CareerLocker. So if you send a message or an announcement through CareerLocker, it will show up for the student right here in this section for high school students. And it will show up for the middle school students right here in this section. It'll say you have a message waiting for you, or you have an announcement waiting for you. So if it's an important message or announcement, don't send it through CareerLocker if you don't think that students are going to be logging into CareerLocker anytime soon. This last category is the tools for the administrator. So remember at the top of the page when I clicked on how to create an account, it tells me that my main contact right here is Christopher East. Christopher East is the administrator. So when Christopher East logs into CareerLocker, he will see this tools for the administrator link. If you are not the administrator, you will not see this link. When I click on it, I have the ability to pull up lists of usernames and passwords. I can show and edit student information. I can find a list of deactivated students, and I can do mass deletions. I can even see which teachers or which professionals have looked at students or job seekers' ILP portfolio. One thing I mentioned about the ILP portfolio is if you are an adult student or adult job seeker, your teachers or your counselors do not have automatic access to the e-portfolio. Your students, the students or the job seekers grant permission. So if you are a professional working with adult job seekers, adult students, that student has to go into their own specific CareerLocker account and grant you permission to view their e-portfolio. But for K-12 students, the administrator can see what professionals have looked at which students' e-portfolios. That way, it's a privacy thing. If you think that being an appropriate student, you can check here to see if access to that student's e-portfolio. The professional link, this is the administrator can look up professional usernames and passwords, but they can also do administrative level. So if you are a professional at My Phony Wisconsin High School, but your name is not Chris East, remember Chris East is the administrator, you can log into his account and grant you administrative. So you have delegate and level. A professional, but you are working 6 weeks with a group of 30 students, I'm going to grant you administrative level. That way you have the ability when you log in to look up your student usernames and passwords, and you don't have to come looking for me. This is very time consuming, and it saves a lot of time to grant administrative rights. So remember, granting administration can only be done by the main panel. And they click on tools for the administrator, they click on professional, and they delegate administrative level, and then they find the professional on the list and click edit. The main administrator can also take away administrative rights, but if you are not the administrator and you have this tool here, you cannot take away anybody else's administrative rights. The groups section is to create groups for the purpose of running reports based on groups. So for example, if let's see, I'm going to add a new group, add one or more new groups. I'm going to add Halloween group. Then I can either require students to be a member, or I don't have to require students to be a member. And then I can click submit. So when I usage reports, I click on this usage reports link, I can actually run a report just for that specific group. So for example, I look at this group down here. Here's the Halloween group that I just created. This is helpful if you, again, are that teacher or professor working 6 weeks with 30 students or 30 seekers, and you want to know what only those 30 specific students, top career clusters, or their reports. You only want to know the information on those 30 students and not the entire population of your school or organization. So that is why we have the groups, so you can run reports based on groups. The administrator is the person who can create groups, but if you have administrative rights, you can also create and edit and delete groups. This last section is the account information and settings. This is where you go to just to see your account information. So we have the account name, the codes, the number of registrations allowed, and videos. You can actually prevent your students and clients from editing their personal information. So this is helpful for high schools or K-12 schools that have a universal username and password for students. So if you're with your group of 30 students and you want them all to use their student ID as their username, and then the last 4 digits of their social security number as their password, you can have them do that. And then if you click prevent editing, they won't be able to change it later. So 2 weeks down the road, a student comes to you and says, I forgot my username and password. And you should be able to say, oh, well, it should be your student ID as your username and the last 4 digits of your social as your password. A lot of schools actually do that. So you can prevent editing and allow editing. The last thing here, which I did show under the introduction to the elementary school, is this area Also, if you are with an elementary school, you will see an option right here in this section that I'm circling that you can choose specific versions of CareerLocker. You want specific grades to see in the elementary level. So to get a better understanding of how this works and how this looks, please watch my Introduction to Elementary tutorials or webinars. That way you can get an idea of how this works. Don't forget we're on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and then my blog. My blog is thecareersforward.wordpress.com. That wraps up our current webinar, current training on the tools for the professional, I should say, or professional tools. I call this my professional homepage. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at arivera3@wisc.edu. That's ARI, V as in Victor, ERA 3@WIS as in Sam, C.edu. Thanks for attending. I hope you have a great day. Over and out.